It's Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, the big, beautiful blow-up. You get deported, and you get deported. And we got what being smuggled into this country next on the AM Update.
With all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong.
This is where I think the president and I are talking past each other. I accept the growth arguments.
Let the record reflect that Spartacus did not answer the question and did not tell us whether the criminal law should be enforced.
Now, Mohammed's despicable actions will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But we're also investigating to what extent his family knew about this horrific attack.
This young producer, he never missed a beat. He was like, thank you, Mr. Phil. Now can we do another prayer that we can actually put on television?
Well, the big, beautiful bill seems to be blowing up in some ways. President Trump posted on Truth Social yesterday, quote, "Passing the big, beautiful bill is a historic opportunity to turn our country around after 4 disastrous years under Joe Biden. We will take massive steps to balancing our budget by enacting the largest mandatory spending cut ever, and Americans will get to keep more of their money with the largest tax cut ever, and no longer taxing tips, overtime, or Social Security for seniors." We already knew Elon Musk was not a huge fan of the bill, but he poured gasoline on that fire yesterday, saying this on X, quote, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination." A disgusting abomination, Elon Musk says. "Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." So Elon Musk, first serious political commentary since leaving Doge, not happy at all, and continues to make that known in no uncertain terms. He's been posting about the debt as well recently in recent days. It's just quite astounding that it seems like the Republican Party, in less than a year, made maybe somewhat of an enemy out of Elon Musk. House Speaker Mike Johnson says, though, Elon Musk, love him or hate him, he's just wrong.
Yeah, let me say this. It's very disappointing. Okay, I've come to consider Elon a good friend. He's obviously a very intelligent person, and he's done a lot of great work. With all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong about the one big beautiful bill.
Johnson repeated his, I don't want to call them talking points, but his defense of the big beautiful bill, saying that it actually secures every campaign promise of the America First agenda and historic savings of more than $1.6 trillion. Over in the Senate, here is Senator Rand Paul on the Will Cain show, saying that there's not really any fundamental disagreement or misunderstandings about why he doesn't support the bill in its current form. He just wants to clarify.
But do you not think the president has a point with deregulation and tax cuts that we could see real growth that actually helps not jack up the deficit as is accounted for?
I actually do, and this is where I think the president and I are talking past each other. I accept the growth arguments. I actually accept that cutting taxes can grow revenue. I believe it happened under Reagan. I believe it happened under the first Trump term, and I supported the tax cuts in the first term. I still support them. I support making them permanent, and I do believe they will bring in more revenue than the CBO projects. My objection to the bill isn't about the tax cuts, and it isn't about those calculations. My objection to the bill is they're going to raise the debt ceiling more than they ever have, $5 trillion, and that this will be the largest increase in the debt ceiling ever. And if the Republicans all vote for it, the Republicans will own the debt. They will lose their high moral ground. We will no longer be the party that can say, look at the Democrats. They're the ones, foisting the debt on our country. We're drowning in a sea of debt caused by Democrats, which has largely been true. But I think now they vote for this. So if they separate out the debt ceiling, I could be for the bill.
Now, I like Senator Rand Paul, but let's not fool ourselves into thinking that Republicans really ever had the moral high ground when it came to spending and the debt. That's just not true. It hasn't been true for basically my entire life. Moving on, the wife and all 5 children of Boulder terror suspect Mohamed Soliman have been arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Homeland Security and are now in federal custody. Fox News reports that the family is now in processing for expedited removal, which allows rapid deportation without a hearing before an immigration court or judge. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem addressed the situation on social media.
Hi, everyone. I'm Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Today, the Department of Homeland Security and ICE are taking the family of suspected Boulder, Colorado terrorist and illegal alien Mohamed Soliman into ICE custody Now, Mohammed's despicable actions will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But we're also investigating to what extent his family knew about this horrific attack, if they had any knowledge of it, or if they provided support to it. I am continuing to pray for the victims of this attack and for all of their families. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to all of them, and I want them to know that justice will be served.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem explaining that it's not just Soliman who was in the country illegally. It was his wife and 5 children who are allowed to live in this country illegally thanks to the Biden administration. They are on pace for a quick deportation back to Egypt. Check out this story. 2 Chinese nationals have been charged with allegedly smuggling into the U.S. a fungus called Fusarium Graminearum, which scientific literature classifies as a potential agro-terrorism weapon, according to the Justice Department. Young King Zhan, 33, and Zunyang Liu, 34, citizens of the People's Republic of China, were allegedly receiving Chinese government funding for their research, some of which at the University of Michigan. The Department of Justice said, quote, the complaint also alleges that Zhan's electronics contain information describing her membership in and loyalty to the Chinese Communist Party. It's further alleged that Zhan's boyfriend Liu works at a Chinese university where he conducts research on the same pathogen, and that he first lied but then admitted to smuggling Fusarium Graminearum to America through the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, and admitted he was trying to conduct research on it at the laboratory at the University of Michigan, where his girlfriend Zhan worked. That's, again, according to the DOJ press release. So, close allies of the Chinese Communist Party got caught trying to sneak an agro-terrorism weapon into the United States. Of course, they were trying to do research at the University of Michigan. Unbelievable. President Trump's Justice Department is investigating whether former President Joe Biden was competent enough to grant last-minute pardons before leaving office. Department of Justice pardon attorney Ed Martin instructed staff in an email this week to probe the extent to which Biden, who was 82 years old when he left the White House, was, quote, competent, and whether others were taking advantage of him through use of autopen or other means. Martin's email was first reported by Reuters. The investigation will focus on pardons for 5 first family members issued on Biden's last day in office and sentence commutations issued in December of 2024 for 37 of the 40 men currently on federal death row, including multiple child killers and mass murderers. Martin said last month that the presidential pardon power is plenary or absolute, but instances where an autopen was used to sign off on clemency warranted more scrutiny. A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration has to keep paying for the chemical castration of dudes who feel pretty who are currently incarcerated. The Federal Bureau of Prisons was ordered to provide the therapy, so-called, to the group of Truny prisoners, as well as 2,000 other prisoners who are certified under the ruling as belonging to the same class who would suffer irreparable harm otherwise. President Trump issued that executive order on January 20th that banned federal funds for treatments provided, quote, for the purpose of conforming an inmate's appearance to that of the opposite sex. The lawsuit from the inmates in the case argued that the order to categorically withdraw so-called gender-affirming healthcare, again, this is chemical castration, from trans-identifying prisoners, regardless of their individualized medical need, is a violation of the 8th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. That amendment prohibits the government from subjecting prisoners to cruel and unusual punishment. In the year of our Lord 2025, it's now considered in this country and to this federal judge. Again, this is Judge Royce Lambert for the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia. In the year of our Lord 2025, it is now considered cruel and unusual punishment to not allow men who say they are women to castrate themselves chemically. This is a real thing, a real story that unfolded this week. I mean, this is just the confluence of the judicial tyranny and rainbow jihad run amok. It's pretty incredible stuff. Now, this before the break, Senators Ted Cruz and Cory Booker sparred Tuesday over the alleged uptick in threats against federal judges during President Trump's second term. Their standoff came as, of course, judges, like we just talked about, have issued a record number of injunctions against the flurry, really a blizzard of executive actions by the president. Here's Senator Cruz. Check out what he says in response to this line of obfuscation from Senator Booker.
And I will give my colleague from New Jersey a chance to just answer a simple yes-no question. Should the Biden Justice Department have enforced the criminal law against protesting at a justice's home? Yes or no?
So the rank hypocrisy of Chuck Schumer apologizing the next day and you holding that standard for him and not for your president, who you actually rightfully described when you were running against him in a primary. I would love to run those tapes of how you perfectly talked about the danger of our president and his rhetoric. But now you are failing, in fact, blind to the very things you're accusing Chuck Schumer of. I don't think Donald Trump would know an apology if it hit him in the head. Never has said apologizing. So again, you are very, very, sir, very, very deep into the waters of hypocrisy in your criticisms of Chuck Schumer.
So let the record reflect that Spartacus did not answer the question and did not tell us whether the criminal law should be enforced because he knows the answer.
Let the record show Spartacus. It doesn't really matter what else he said after that because that's all that you needed to hear. When we come back, I'll call it a pleasant change in policy from a major bank, a clash of two of my favorite brands, and the prayer that never saw the light of day from one Mr. Phil Robertson. That's coming up next. Citi announced on Tuesday that it'll update its policies to ensure clients can access the firm's financial services despite their political views or involvement in the firearms industry. The bank's decision comes following actions by the Trump administration to counter alleged debanking of conservatives, crypto firms, and other businesses, such as firearms dealers who have lost access to financial services because of their political views or connection to disfavored industries. Donald Trump Jr. went on CNBC yesterday to discuss why he went all in on one asset after his family was debanked in the midst of lawfare.
The reason we got into crypto, and we're all in on crypto, and we're doing American Bitcoin, and we have World Liberty Finance and USD1, was because there was a time, and probably I'd been on this show, where I could call any single banker in New York City. They'd pick up the phone. I'd be able to get a loan for whatever real estate project I was doing across the street. Then we got into politics, and all of a sudden, they wouldn't take your call. Right. You couldn't get financing. We were debanked. And what I realized, and my brother realized, because we were the recipients of every subpoena imaginable, was that, you know what, we were actually just the top of this sort of pyramid scheme that we didn't realize we were a part of, that the financial system was totally undemocratized. Because we had a certain balance sheet and whatever, we could kind of do whatever we wanted. The regular guy was messed up. Now we were all of a sudden in the shoes of the regular guy that wouldn't be able to take advantage of the markets. And we said, what's the solution for that? The answer is crypto. These decentralized platforms where you're not beholden to this, where you create efficiencies. As a guy that did real estate, why am I paying points in and out for title insurance that could be done on the blockchain? So we got into crypto not because it was like, hey, this is the next cool thing. We got into it out of necessity.
Well, at least if you're a client of Citibank, fortunately, at least for the time being, they have removed their policy, which basically discriminated against people like Don Trump Jr., who you just heard there talking about, waxing poetic about cryptocurrency as a whole being a hedge against that sort of targeted harassment or targeted discrimination from big banks. Two brands that I have a lot of love for are in a legal fight with each other. Snack food maker Mondelez International is suing the Aldi supermarket chain, alleging the packaging for Aldi's store brand cookies and crackers are blatant copies and threatening irreparable harm to Mondelez and its brands. The company is seeking monetary damages and a court order that would stop Aldi from selling products that infringe on its trademarks. Aldi didn't respond to messages from the New York Post, who originally had this story. The U.S. branch of Aldi, which is based in Batavia, Illinois, was named in the lawsuit. In the suit, Mondelez displayed side-by-side photos of multiple products. Aldi's thin wheat crackers, for example, come in a gold box, very similar to Mondelez's Wheat Thins. Aldi's chocolate sandwich cookies and Oreos both have blue packaging. The supermarket's golden round crackers and Mondelez's Ritz crackers are packaged in red boxes. You know, as much as I love Aldi, and it's Aldi, not Aldi's. That's some sort of Mandela effect. Everybody thinks it's Aldi's. No, it's Aldi. I love Aldi, but looking at some of these photographs, they're probably in the wrong here. I mean, it's almost exactly the same. Exactly the same. Not indistinguishable, but exactly the same. But when it comes to Oreo, I mean, they have the gluten-free double-stuffed Oreos now. And I love Aldi. I love everything from Aldi. I love the price the most. But watching these two brands go at each other in litigation and legalese, man, it's like watching two members of your family sue each other. Don't like that. Quickly this. Forgot to get this in earlier. Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the Navy to strip the name of homo rights icon Harvey Milk from its ship. Now, who is Harvey Milk? And yes, there is a USS Harvey Milk. Harvey Milk is just really a predator. He is, or was, more accurately. He's hailed as some sort of rainbow jihad icon. This dude, at the age of 33, tried to marry a 16-year-old boy. He was a predator. History of raping and grooming minor boys, one of whom actually went on to take his own life. He was a pederast. But yet, the U.S. Navy a few years back named a ship after Harvey Milk. Good for Pete Hegseth reversing that stupid decision. And waiting for Pride Month, the artist formerly known as Pride Month, to make that decision. And now here's this. Willie Robertson, son of the recently deceased Phil Robertson, joined Tucker Carlson to discuss the life of his father and the legacy of his father. And he described one moment when they were shooting the Duck Dynasty show on A&E, described one moment, a prayer that Phil told over his family that didn't make it to air, and why. Listen to this.
So we sit down. This is my favorite thing that ever happened to Duck Dynasty that never got shown. So we had this dinner scene every time, Yeah. And so we're on like episode 80, And, the part of TV is, you got these kids. They come in from LA, they're 25 years old, and they're telling you what to do. Go. You don't look right. And, it's kind of weird when you become the CEO of your company and you're doing this. Now you're listening to people you don't know and they're telling you what to do. And so I think my dad had gotten a little past the point of that at this point.
I bet pretty quickly.
So we're setting all the table up and we're just sitting there, we've done this 1,000 times, and Jibs on the table and like, okay, everybody ready? And so the little young producer's like, okay, and Mr. Phil, you'll pray, action. So we bow our heads. And Phil said, Father, I pray for these bunch of heathens from Los Angeles, California, with their latte coffees and their filthy language. I pray you don't burn them all in hell for their sinfulness. Amen. we were laughing so hard because none of us knew that was coming. None of us realized. And so we all look up and we're just like, look around and go, what was that? And this young producer, he never missed a beat. He was like, thank you, Mr. Phil. Now can we do another prayer that we could actually put on television?
That is Willie Robertson talking about his dad, Phil Robertson, recently passed away. And just coming past the point of annoyance with all of these 20-something producers from Los Angeles who had invaded their Louisiana home while they were shooting Duck Dynasty. I heard that and I wanted to share it because it's pretty hilarious, and you can definitely, Willie Robertson does a good impression of his dad, but you can totally hear Phil Robertson. You can totally hear that coming out. When we come back, Air Analysis featuring a very special guest. And finally, Air Analysis, slightly acidic, mostly necessary. I've got a guest today for Air Analysis. That would be my son, Ben. Ben, how are you doing?
Well.
Good. I wanted to talk to you about a very special place that you just got to go to earlier this week. Where did you go this week?
I go to Grandma Max.
Grandma Max. And you like to go to Grandma Max, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, is it your one of your favorite places?
Yes.
What do you like about going to Grandma Mac's house?
I go to the Replex with my duckies.
Okay, well, I like that you like to go to the Recplex with your duckies, but we're talking about Grandma Mac's house. What do you like to do at Grandma Mac's house?
Play with toys with Froggy.
Play with toys with Froggy. Yeah, Froggy is your little plastic water toy that you took down to Grandma Mac's house. And next time you go to Grandma Mac's house, we can pick up Froggy. What did you do this time at Grandma Mac's house?
I do everything.
You did everything? What does everything mean?
Replex.
I don't think...
Mac goes to a Replex.
I don't think you went to the Recplex. What did you do with Grandma Mac? Did you pick some strawberries?
Yes.
And did you pick any other kind of berries?
Yes.
What kind of berries?
Aronia.
Aronia berries. Very cool. Did you pick any raspberries?
Yeah, I pick a raspberry.
Okay. Did you pick any blackberries?
Yes.
Cool. And did you get to spend any time with Gramps?
Yes.
And what did you do with Gramps?
I do everything.
You did everything with Gramps, too. Did you go out to his shop?
Yes.
Very, very cool. Did you get to drive a tractor?
Yes.
What kind of tractor did you drive?
A John Deere.
A John Deere, that's right. Yeah, nothing runs like a deer. Did you know that that's their slogan? Nothing runs like a deer, John Deere. And did Gramps let you steer the tractor?
Yes.
What else did you do at Grandma Mac's house?
I do everything.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Go to Grandma Mac's house, and you can do everything. That's going to do it for a Wednesday. Back at it again tomorrow. I'm Aaron McIntire, and this is the AM Update.